Welcome to another episode of the J&J Podcast. I'm Jamie.
This is Jameson.
As Varnell Hill said in the Martin episode, did you miss us? We've been gone for a little bit, on vacation, traveling, but we're back. And we want to welcome all of our listeners in. Jameson, you had a good summer so far?
Oh, yeah, it's been great summer. It's hot as fish grease outside, but I've been blessed outside of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, blessed, but not outside.
Exactly.
That's right. Cool. Well, we want to welcome all of our listeners in. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to start with the NFL as our first topic today. And Jamison, there has been ESPN's top 10 QBs list. And as a good friend of mine once said, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's on that list? And let's just be honest. I don't know who's behind the scenes at ESPN, but
It's bad.
this is, yeah, ESPN stands for Every Sports Person's Network, but yeah, they've gone a little bit too far because now
Facts.
they're just letting anybody and everybody give their opinion. So let's start with that list.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to read the top 10, and then we can just give our reactions to it, because I definitely want to hear your reaction to some of this. And you already know how I'm going to feel, especially when it comes to Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely.
But number one, I'll let you guess first for number one. You already know who it's the Golden Boy.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes?
That Patty Mahomes monster. So they got
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes first. They have Josh Allen second.
Okay.
They have.
Well, you don't have to go any farther.
I'm gonna keep going though. They have Joe Burrow third.
Shut up.
They have Lamar fourth. We'll get to it once I'm done reading the list. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So Lamar Jackson's fourth. Jaden Daniels is fifth. I'm not mad at that. Matthew Stafford sixth. Justin Herbert is seventh. Jared Goff is eighth. Jalen Hurts is ninth. And
What?
then 10th is Baker Mayfield. So some of the honorable mentions that weren't up there was CJ Stroud didn't make
Wait a
the
minute.
cut.
Ho. Did you say Baker Mayfield was 10?
Yeah, he's number 10. So they have
Okay.
CJ Stroud didn't make the cut.
Okay.
He was an honorable
Okay.
mention. And Jordan Love didn't make the cut. Another one, you know how Cowboys fans are. Dak Prescott didn't make the cut, nor did Tua Tagovailoa.
I ain't really mad at that one. To be
Nah,
honest.
I don't think Dak deserves to be in the top 10.
No.
But here's my initial reaction. With all due respect, Patrick Mahomes should not be number one. I think the
No.
best quarterback going into the season. Here's how I would rank the list if you ask me personally. First off, I think Lamar Jackson should be number one. And I get it.
Yep.
People are having that recency bias to get, Josh Allen win MVP. We talked about it throughout the entirety of last season. Josh Allen should have never won MVP over Lamar Jackson. That was honestly, they probably got tired. It was just like when Michael Jordan did win over Karl Malone. They probably got tired of just voting for Lamar Jackson, wanted Josh Allen to get one. But in my opinion, the top three should be Lamar number one, Josh Allen number two, and Patrick Mahomes number three. There is no way in the world after Patrick Mahomes had that absolute stinker in the Super Bowl. And we talked about this throughout the entire season. He didn't have that good of a year last year. If we're being honest, they didn't score a lot. That was probably he turned the ball over the most for his career in a season. It was just there's no way in the world you can look at how Patrick Mahomes played throughout the playoffs, throughout the regular season last year, and especially how he played in the Super Bowl and rank him number one. I can't get with that. But I would have Lamar one. I would have Josh Allen second. I would have Patrick Mahomes third. I would have Joe Burrow fourth. I love Jaden Daniels at five. I'm not mad at that. I think Matthew Stafford at six is still fair because I'm telling you that joker can still sling the football. Justin Herbert seven. I think Justin Herbert is going to have a good year, second season under Harbaugh. But at the same time, I'm like, is Justin Herbert, if he's seven, how is CJ Stroud not on the list? With all due respect. Jared Goff, I'm fine with him being at 8. Jalen Hurts, I'm fine with him being at 9. And then Baker Mayfield, I'm like, with all due respect, CJ Stroud is better in my opinion, and I also think Jordan Love is better in my opinion. I get it, Jordan Love hasn't done that much come playoff time, but I mean, with all due respect, what has Baker Mayfield done come playoff time? But your thoughts?
What is Justin Herbert? Okay, so let's.
Justin Herbert got to make the playoffs first.
Thank you. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Sorry, but yeah.
So, how do you have Justin Herbert ranked over Jalen Hurts when he hasn't even made the playoffs?
I know.
That's so. First of all, for me, yes, Jalen Hurts should be in the top 10. But I'm going to, if we're going to talk about recency bias, then yeah, I'm going to put him higher than Justin Herbert. I'm going to put him higher. I mean, Baker Mayfield in the top 10. I'm not even sure
And see, when
that should.
Herbert's made the playoffs, he's 0-2.
Thank you. I mean, listen. Um. Okay, let me take a breath
Having
because
Lamar
this.
Jackson fourth though is outrageous. When I saw that list, I was like, we have to talk about this because there's
Yeah,
no
this.
way. Like even me, I love Joe Burrow, but it's like they didn't like hit. Of course, he had a really good year numbers wise, and Jamar Chase did, but it didn't amount to anything. They still were
Thank you.
terrible.
Yes. And they had to listen. He had to rack up good numbers because they stunk up the joint
Yeah,
at the
they
beginning of
snuck
the
up. I
season.
mean, and granted, their defense was terrible. Like that was probably one of the worst defenses I've ever seen. For
But
to
with
have that,
everybody, you
yeah,
can make an excuse for why they didn't do this or why they didn't
exactly.
do that. So at the end of the day, and look, you might trip when I say this. Jalen Hurts is probably should probably be 6 or 7. Um, I get the Jaden Daniels, and I'm not necessarily saying I would probably have he and Jaden Daniels next to each other. I mean,
So would you
Hurts won a
have
Super Bowl.
Jaden Daniels fifth, Jalen Hurts sixth, and then Matthew Stafford seventh? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yes,
I'm not
that's
mad at
exactly.
that. I'm not
Yeah,
mad at
that's
that.
exactly what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, I would definitely do that. I recognize what Matthew Stafford has done. This is not a longevity
Yeah.
award. I mean, I guess at this point it is becoming that. It's a longevity award. Um, so I would have him in my top 10, but I wouldn't have him over Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't.
And I get it.
Um,
The Matthew Stafford thing, he did put up incredible numbers. And granted, like they were a player or two away from actually beating the Eagles in the playoffs, so I get it.
they were,
And even this
but
year
they
now,
didn't.
but I will say this: they might be taking this into account. The brothers gonna have Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams this year, so
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be absolutely filthy. Um,
I agree.
so we're gonna see what happens.
But what happens to the high of being in a Super Bowl and
No,
being
I
Super
completely
Bowl
agree.
champion? Yeah, no, I'm saying we agree, but I'm saying what happens to that if you're gonna, if you're going to look at what the team is going to potentially look like, then why not look at the ones who won the Super Bowl?
Facts.
Like start there. Aside from Lamar,
No,
Patrick
I agree.
Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes might need to be, and boy, I know if there would be certain people who would lose their minds if they hear me say this. Patrick Mahomes might not even deserve to be in the top 3, given how he played last year,
Yeah,
and given what they lost.
you can realistically make the argument that Joe Burrow had a better season. I mean,
I would
if
agree.
we're just looking solely at the quarterback position, we're not looking at wins losses. We're just looking at pure numbers. Joe Burrow
Yeah,
had a monster season. You could honestly rank it to your point: Lamar, Josh Allen, Burrow, then Patrick Mahomes. But
yeah,
the fact that Lamar was fourth though, that just didn't sit right with me. I just
yeah,
I almost threw up when I saw that.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's bad
ridiculous.
ball.
That's terrible ball. So I don't have much more to add to that because I just think that some of the folks who are building these,
Yeah,
like
it's
we,
nasty.
it's really nasty work. It's just like some of the folks who have ranked ESPN's top 25 in the WNBA. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But when I saw that ranking, I was like, okay, they need to be somebody who is popular always says they need to be drug tested. Yeah, they do.
Yep.
So one of the topics that I know you were highly interested in is the fact that Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson both signed their contract extensions with the
Yeah.
Jets.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest. I was really happy for both of them, but here's what I'm going to say. I've seen a lot of production from Garrett Wilson every single season he's been in the league. And I think now, him having Justin Fields, they already had that connection from college when they were both at Ohio State. I think that's just going to take his game to the next level. And one thing about Justin Fields, he will air the football out. So I think it's going
Yes.
to, I think it's going to benefit both of them. Sauce Gardner, he had a really good first year, but ever since then, like especially last year, he was not that good. With all due
He got
respect,
exposed.
he wasn't terrible. Don't get me wrong, but he
Yeah.
got exposed for a lot of holding and things like that. It's like he got to clean that up. I'm glad he got his money. You know me, I'm always happy when my brothers get paid. But at the same time, with that new paycheck, it's gonna come more responsibility. It's gonna come more expectations. So it kind of remains to be seen what Sauce Gardner's going to end up doing with that new contract extension. But I'm happy for both of them.
Me too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this is a big deal that the Commanders signed Devon Miller.
Oh, I
Now,
love it.
before I pass it back to you, I will say this. I'm tempering my expectations because Von Miller's been in the league for a minute. Um,
Yeah.
do I still believe that he has something left in the tank? I absolutely do.
Yeah.
And I think that he can kind of buttress that defense.
And it's a
But
1 year deal too. So
yeah, exactly. So I think it's a win-win for both of them because it gives
facts.
them a chance to actually see what does he have left in the tank.
Yep.
But I also believe that he does have quite a bit left in the tank. So I think
I
it's a
agree.
good signing for both.
As long as he can stay healthy, it's one of those low risk, high reward situations. If you ask me, I think like if he can give them solid production, he only paid him like it was like $5 or $6 million this year for a 1 year deal. So it's like if he can overperform, even if he just has a decent season, it's like that's still a good signing for both, in my opinion. But speaking of the
Absolutely.
Commanders, they need to stop playing around with Terry McLaurin. Like I saw
Thank
the
you.
brothers not showing up to training camp, but I'm like, bro, I get it. You got Debo Samuel, but with all due respect, Debo Samuel's not going to have a good year unless Terry McLaurin's on that roster because
That's right.
he's gonna free up looks and make it easier for Debo Samuel. Terry McLaurin literally had over 1,100 receiving yards, led their team in total touchdowns, made Jaden Daniels' life a whole lot easier. With all due respect, as much as I love Jaden Daniels, if he doesn't have Terry McLaurin, he's not a top 5 quarterback right now in the league. I'm sorry. It is what it is. So they better stop playing around. Terry McLaurin's a good dude for that organization. Stays out of drama. Pay that brother what he's earned. In my opinion. So I'm telling you, the Commanders keep playing around. They gonna take 2 steps backwards. When it seems like they should be taking steps forward. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that. Listen, Debo Samuel's success is going to be based on Terry McLaurin
Yeah.
because that brother has been balling without anybody on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And so I listen. I I know that his numbers have the potential to go down because he was doing it all, but at the end of the day, he's the one that they should be thinking about signing. I know they brought in Debo, but that would be a catastrophic situation if they didn't get him signed.
Yep.
So I'm with you. Stop playing. You know, you signed Von Miller. You got Debo now. That's the guy that you've got to lock up. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's your number one, and you better lock him up, and you better do it, and you better do it quickly.
Yep. I agree.
So, well, training camp started today in the NFL. Jameson, and I'll give you my thoughts as well. But what are the teams that you think could potentially be a surprise this year?
Well, there's one team I think, and you're gonna be shocked by my answer, but it's the Carolina Panthers. Um, here's my thing about the Panthers. That they're either going to win 8 or 9 games or they're gonna win four. It's no in between. Just being
Yeah.
candid with you. But I think they have enough. They upgraded their defense. They still have a really good offensive line now for Bryce. And Bryce, here's the thing. Like, I'm rooting for Bryce. People aren't going to give him a lot of excuses this year. It's like you now have a good offensive line. They upgraded their backfield. Have two really good running backs. You're still gonna have Chuba Hubbard. If everybody can stay healthy, you'll get Derek Brown back. And now think about that receiving core. You have T Mac, who they drafted, which was I still can't believe they got T Mac in the draft.
That's crazy.
Outside of honestly, I think outside of Travis Hunter, he was the best receiver. He might have been honestly the best overall receiver in this year's draft class. So the fact that Bryce has Xavier Legette, they're still gonna have Adam Thielen. They'll have Sanders now at tight end. It's like I really like this roster on paper, and I think second year for Dave Canales, I think he's just gonna take take even better and larger strides. So overall, I think the Panthers they can actually be a really shocking team this year and surprise a lot of people. But what team do you think might surprise people?
Well, let me talk about the Panthers for a second
Yeah.
because I think this is the year that Bryce Young has to. I think he's gonna take that step, but I also think it's paramount that he does.
Mm-hmm.
They've put a few additional weapons, and here's the crazy part. We look at that roster and you think if this was anybody else, you'd be like, oh, they're not gonna do much, but the expectations are kind of low, and I do believe that the
Exactly.
Panthers have, you know what I mean. So I do, and they always do more with less.
They do.
They've always had to. I mean, go back to the days of Cam Newton. They did a whole lot because of him
Yep.
with less. His best receiver was a tight end. That's just the way it was, and so I think that he's going to take that next step. I think him having sat a little while for the season, being able to sit on the sidelines, you saw how he played when he came back. I think he'll take that next step.
Facts.
And I do believe that because he now has a consistent running game, Hubbard is going to be the featured back. They know that he's going to be the workhorse.
And they got Dowdle, Rico Dowdle.
And that's what I was going to say. They got Dowdle too. So, and to me, that could potentially be an X factor.
That was a crazy pickup.
That was a great pickup. So it's one of those teams where you look at them and you're like, when we watch NBA games, we're like, you know what? They don't have a bunch of stars, but these dudes know how to play ball together.
Yep.
And so, good comparison. Now, I'm not saying that they're getting ready to be the Detroit Pistons when they won the championship, but if you look at that roster, it's a lot of dudes who were good, weren't great, but they all knew what their role was. Yep. And I think that that's the way that this team is going to look. Now, the team that I think is going to surprise people, and man, you know how I feel about them now. I used to be a Cowboys fan, but I actually think the Cowboys might surprise some people.
You know what's funny? That was my second team. I just didn't want to bring them up.
I know. I mean, I hate to because nobody's talking about them.
No, like exactly
that to me
it
says, and that's the scary part. When nobody's talking about them, nothing's being said. They're just quietly going about their business. We'll see what if Dak can really be the game changer. He's a game manager.
And he has the weapons. It's like now you have George Pickens with CeeDee Lamb.
Yes. I mean, my God. So, I mean, listen, Pickens can be flat out scary.
If he just stays out of drama and trouble, like the brother is special. Like
talented.
There's not a lot of number two wide receivers that I would rank above him right now, if I'm being honest.
Absolutely. He has number one skill set.
I agree.
He absolutely does. He just doesn't have number one mentality.
You know what it reminds me of? You remember like that last couple of years with the Steelers where it was Antonio Brown and Juju Smith, and both of them went off because AB made it so much easier for Juju Smith. I think it could be the same exact situation here. It's like CD gonna get his, but it's like when all the attention is focused on him, it's no different than with the Vikings with Jay Jettas and Jordan Addison. It's like that number two is gonna have room to be able to shine, and I think it's gonna be like that for George Pickens. As long as he can stay out of drama and trouble and just not be a head case, I think it's gonna be a really good season for him, and it's a proving year. He's trying to get paid.
Yeah, absolutely, and that to me is the key. Mm-hmm. If he can stay out of his own head, I think they could be special.
Yeah.
So that's the team that I think might surprise some folks this year because there's not a lot of expectations, to be honest. This is one of those years where you're not hearing a bunch. You're not hearing the hype. I'm not sure how Jerry Jones feels about that because that's all he is a hype machine.
Yep.
And that's why I couldn't be a fan anymore. So I think that could be a team that surprises people. But then again, it could be another.
They could miss the playoffs. You just never know.
Exactly. Could be another bust season. They win 9 games and do what they always do, losing the first round. So who knows? Well, I'm going to shift over to the NBA. Speaking of the Charlotte franchises, the Hornets win the Summer League championship.
Might be the only championship they get in the next decade.
I was about to say that might be their biggest accomplishment as an organization. Sadly, I mean,
for real though.
Like seriously, as you would say, no troll.
Yeah, no troll.
So first of all, when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. I was watching some of the games, and of course, we were watching the Lakers, and we'll talk about Bronny in just a few.
That Bronny.
Oh, that Bronny monster. But I was like, wait a minute, the Hornets won.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Kyle Filipowski named Summer League MVP.
Yep. Oh, and then speaking of the Hornets, you remember I said it when they drafted him. Conker Nipple's gonna be special for them. That was an amazing draft pick. Like I'm like, typically the Hornets haven't gotten it right when it comes to their draft picks, but they've gotten it right now with LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and I think Conker Nipple's a perfect fit. I'm like, the brother can shoot the ball. He wants to play defense. He plays basketball the right way, and I think he's the perfect fit besides someone like LaMelo and Brandon Miller. So I think he's going to be a really good NBA player.
You remember during draft night, we were both like, oh, That is a really good
Yeah.
pick. Like
Yes, sir.
both of us were,
Yeah.
we were both like there with our mouths agape.
Yeah.
Pause. Um, but we were both surprised.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be honest with you. Like I started looking at his game more and more. That's now he. Okay, I'm not saying he's going to be, but that's Klay Thompson. That's
And what's
exactly
wild
who.
is, like, literally, it's funny you say that because when I watched the Summer League Championship, I was like, this brother looks like Klay Thompson right now. It's
He
hilarious you
looks
said
like,
that.
yes, he looks like, and you and I didn't talk about that.
No.
Like, I mean, his the way he shoots his jumper,
And
I
he
didn't want
plays
to say
good
stroke,
defense.
and he plays defense. He moves his feet. Clay Thompson, people don't give Clay Thompson enough credit after those injuries.
And he
Clay
was
Thompson
sneaky
was a
athletic.
defensive stopper. That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Sneaky athletic, defensive stopper. He did some of the dirty work because, teams knew that he could flat out shoot,
And
but nobody
see,
was paying attention to the fact that he actually guarded whoever he was playing against.
why I like the fit too, even over somebody like Ace Bailey, it's like, Ace Bailey needs to have the ball in his hands to be able to produce and be successful. It's like Conka Nipple, similar to Klay Thompson, he doesn't have to be able to create off the dribble and do it stuff, have the ball in his hands to be effective. It's like, because we already know when LaMelo's healthy, he's going to be the person that runs that offense. Same with Brandon Miller.
Yeah.
Like, those are going to be your isolation type scores. But having someone like Khan that can go get a bucket but can also get 20 off the ball, that's perfect, man. And he plays defense.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, that's, I mean, great for them.
Yeah.
I think that they've got a good young core.
Facts.
It's what we always talk about when you start to see teams like that are building the right way now, because that's what's always been the case with them.
Yep.
It's
health.
it's health, but because it's the Charlotte market, you're not always going to get the marquee players to come there.
No.
So
You have to build through the draft.
You have to build through the draft, and they haven't always done a good job of that. But I have to commend them on this particular draft.
And I like the young core that they have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I really do. And it's like if they can stay healthy, there's no reason why they can't at least be in the play-in or a 7th or 8th seed. Like they could do what the Pistons did this past season, if you ask me.
Yes.
Because the East is up
Yes.
for grabs with all the injuries.
Exactly. And now what I think they need to do is go out and get that glue veteran.
Well, you know what's funny? They have that. Grant Williams, people forget he's going to be back now this year.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm. They got Trey Mann back. Like, they're going to be solid.
Yeah, yeah. Now, will that turn into wins? Because you got to learn how to win together. And
Facts.
I think the pieces are there. But I'm with you. I think there's a formula. You look at the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're 2 years away from being the Houston Rockets.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And I'm
I
not
agree.
talking about the KD Houston Rockets. I'm talking about before they got KD.
Facts.
So I think that they're, we joke because, the Hornets, it's just because of the market, teams that team doesn't always get the marquee players,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they're now beginning to build the right way through the draft.
I completely agree.
Yeah. We mentioned a little bit more about Summer League, but Bronny was
Bronny.
Yes. I mean, where are all the folks who were talking saying you wasted a 55th draft pick?
We tried to
nobody
tell
else.
people.
We tried, and listen, and we're going to be right about this.
Yeah.
We are. I listen. I don't say that very often, but that dude has the goods.
Yeah, I'm telling you, in the next 2-3 seasons, especially if we continue to just build around Luka, Bronny will be the perfect bet. Like, he is a Drew Holiday type of player at the guard spot, where you can just come in, he can guard the other team's best, guard, play good defense. He's uber athletic. I mean, he's LeBron's son, for crying out loud, and he just has improved confidence now. That was the problem last year. I feel like he just wasn't playing with confidence. There was a lot of pressure, but he was arguably. I'm trying to think of the dude that used to play for the Thunder that we had on our summer league team. It'll come back to me. But him and Bronny were easily the best two stories for the Lakers for summer league. And you remember we talked about it. I thought Dalton Connect was going to play well. Bronny outshined him.
Well, listen, I think Dalton Connect might actually have peaked. I think he's also in his head because
I don't think he wants to be there anymore. Facts.
I don't think he does. But it feels like he's peaked. I saw a dude on Twitter who actually said, will Bronny be better than Dalton Connect? And I was like, Bronny might already be better
right
than
now.
Yeah.
Oh, that another dude's name was Darius Baisley. I can't remember his name.
Darius Baisley, that's right. Oh, by the way, yes, agreed. He is. Listen. He definitely will make the roster. He's definitely going to in my opinion, he should get some playing time.
Yeah,
Um, because that dude he's just a workhorse.
facts.
He's always around the basket. He's always near a rebound.
Good
And
shot
he finishes.
blocker. He's perfect.
Yes, and he finishes around the basket
Yeah,
too.
yes sir.
That's the other part. So I think that all the hoopla, all the hype about they wasted a 55th pick, and certainly the folks who were saying that couldn't name another 55th pick in the NBA
Dad,
draft.
Bronny's already done more than a lot of dudes that were picked in the top 20 of his draft class. So it's like that's how I
Absolutely.
know people just don't watch basketball and they just hating. It's that simple.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Bradley Beal to the Clippers. Your thoughts?
I'll be honest. I love the signing for him, and you're gonna be laughing when I say this. I know people are like, "Man, the Clippers are a retirement home." If they can stay healthy, that's not a team you want to play come playoff time. James Harden, Kawhi Leonard. You know how gonna have Chris Paul. It's like Chris Paul's back in LA. People forget they got Brook Lopez. They still have Zubac. They made the trade for John Collins. Like that team, I get it. James Harden's older. Chris Paul's getting older. We don't know how Bradley Beal's gonna play. It's like he's had really two back-to-back pedestrian seasons. But on paper, because one thing I've learned to do, I've learned not to doubt Tyronn Lue. That brother can coach. So I'm not saying the Clippers are about to win the NBA title next year, but I think if realistically they can be a 6 or 7 seed, they can make some noise come playoff time. Like that's not a team if you're a second or third seed that you want to play in the first or second round of the playoffs. I'll put it that way. But your thoughts on the move?
Yeah. So listen, Bradley Beal is not great, solid. A, so- I mean, there was a time when he was great. He's a solid pickup, very much so. Yeah. I saw something on social media that said, "Who's going to stop the Clippers?" And somebody said, "Probable, doubtful, and out." That's who's
Yeah,
going to stop.
facts. That injury
So,
report.
I mean, I'm just saying. So, the strength and conditioning coach, that's going to go. Who's going to keep the Clippers out?
Well, here's a question
Um,
for you: does Bradley Beal start?
That's a very good question. I think, to be honest with you, I think he has to.
I mean, he could.
Um,
It's like, but think about it. Can him and James Harden work?
I think so. Because
I
here's
think
the
they
thing.
can. James Harden is very unselfish.
Yeah, and here's the other part of it. I think that because Bradley Beal had to actually play point guard some when he
Yeah,
was with the
facts.
Suns, I think that he's made that adjustment to his game.
True.
There are games where I actually watched some of those Suns games, and I was like, okay, he had it going a couple of nights because I had him on my fantasy team,
Yeah.
and I was excited for like 4 days. I mean, like literally, I was excited for like 4 days, and I was like, man, this dude, he can't make it through a week.
Yeah.
Like I
It's
can't.
bad ball.
It's bad ball. But there are times when there are going to be nights where he's got it going and he's going to drop 25 or 30 because he did it for the Suns. And he actually did that a couple of times with the Suns coming off the bench.
Yep.
So I think that whether they bring him off the bench or whether they play him because what's it's Norman Powell.
Nick Powell, as you would call him.
Nick,
No, that's Norman Powell.
yeah.
He was a
See,
part of
I
the
got
trade. You remember he got traded to
right.
Miami.
So that right. So the point I'm making is with Norman Powell being gone, and I can't believe I got it right because I call
Yeah,
that dude
usually
Nick
call him
Powell
Nick
for some
Powell.
reason. Yes. And I had to think about it. I started saying Nick Powell. But with him being gone, I think that there's a strong possibility that he'll start. But if he
Yeah.
doesn't, he can kind of fill that same role, kind of coming in off the bench. But I also think that because Bradley Beal played the point guard position for such a long time, I think he can also come in and facilitate.
I completely
Um,
agree.
so I don't think it's a bad signing at all. And let's just be honest: if Kawhi and James Harden are both healthy, that's to your point. It's not a team I want to see in the playoffs.
I mean, that we
Agreed.
talked about it. They were like that this past year because
I
Kawhi was
know.
that second half of the season. Kawhi was hooping, and people got to
Yep.
remember now too. It's like they have Brook Lopez now. They got him. They still have Chris Dunn. They still have Bogdanovich. Like that's a really good team on paper if they can stay healthy. So
Chris Dunn was underappreciated
he
too, by the
was.
way.
Like in that
Very much
Denver
so.
series, I mean, the thing is, I wish we had basically Bronny reminds me a lot of Chris Dunn. Plays really good defense, can knock down the
Yep.
shot, uber athletic. It's like those are the type of players you need right now in the current NBA, the way the league is shaping. So,
Yes,
yeah,
and that's why I think he's going to have a long career. I do.
facts.
Um, so we're going to talk about Dame back to Portland, but since we're already talking about the Clippers, I'm going to mention the fact that Chris Paul.
Oh yeah, facts. CP3.
Yeah, he's pretty much said. I think he pretty much said that this was going to be his last year, so he's going back to the Clippers
Yes, sir.
again. Um, that that is a very very
I mean,
solid
Dad,
move.
people keep talking about Chris Paul's age. He played every game this past year for the Spurs, at
For the
giving it even
Spurs.
at his age.
Yes. So I again those two additions.
I'm telling you,
Like again, health is always the question with players at that point, and certainly with Bradley Beal, but Chris Paul back to the Clippers,
I love
environment
it.
he's very familiar with. When you hear people say, "Oh, he's used to those rims," it matters. It absolutely
And that
matters.
now,
There's
with
truth
all
to
due
that.
respect, like part of the reason he made the move was he wanted to be closer to family. Like
That's
when
right.
you're close to your family, life is good. You're gonna play good.
That's right. Absolutely. So you're in a comfortable environment.
Yep.
So yeah, I think, man, Clippers folks need to pay attention, and the other team in LA in particular.
Facts.
Um, so so I'm gonna flip back to Portland. Love this.
I
I
love it.
know I know you really really love it. Him back to Portland and quiet as kept, and I'll let you take it from here. Quiet as kept. They've got a nice little core going right there.
Um,
So
Portland might
yeah,
mess around and make the playoffs this year. I love
I'm
that Chauncey
serious.
Billups month, so they signed him to a contract extension. Him being the head coach. I love their draft pick. I cannot pronounce his name for the life of me. But the Asian guy that they drafted that reminds me a lot of Jokic. I love that
Yep.
draft pick. They still have Klingon. They still have Robert Williams. You have Shadon Sharp. They have Denny Avdia. Like, what's his name? Scoot Henderson still.
Cool.
Dame. Drew Holiday. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, this
man.
team on paper, man, they gonna be solid. Like,
Here's my thing.
mhm.
That's the reason why when you just talked about Scoot and Drew
And
Holiday
Jeremy Grant, I forgot about
and
him
Jeremy
too.
and Jeremy Grant, like, so they're also a team that's also a situation where health is always a question because
Facts.
Jeremy Grant can be injury prone. Um, Scoot Henderson, this might be one of those situations or Drew, where they say, okay, we're going to have to pick and choose because now you're really guard heavy. But think about Dame with Chauncey Billups. Like,
Exactly.
that is, to me, that's like a marriage made in heaven,
Facts.
in all seriousness. And I think that, Dame is going to come back with something to prove. He's going to have a chip on the shoulder because I certainly don't like, and I know a lot of people didn't like the way the Bucks
Oh, they
handled
did
that
him
whole situation.
greasy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, that's a team that I'm going to be excited to watch.
Me
I've
too.
always been a Dame fan, but I think they've got some really, really solid pieces. I think they're a team that can be right there in the playing game potentially. May surprise some people and end up taking a spot from, the usual suspects that everybody expects to, make it to the playoffs. They might take
Facts.
one of those spots.
Yep.
I think that's a strong possibility. So, um, speaking of the other team in LA that I was mentioning earlier, Marcus Smart to the Lakers. Your thoughts? I'm not even going to talk about it.
I'm gonna be honest. You remember I called you immediately when I saw Shams make the tweet. I love the move.
Hmm.
Like we talked about it, we needed a backup guard, and I get it now. Like you still have Bronny. Could you imagine now Bronny getting to learn from Marcus Smart? Come on, man.
Mm.
And now think about this. What I loved about the move is Luca called and recruited Marcus Smart to the Lakers. Like
See,
people
that's
forget, Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year a couple years ago.
yep.
It's not that far removed. So literally, we talked about the
He was
Lakers.
just in Washington and nobody knew where he
Yeah,
was.
exactly. The Wizards suck.
And
They
they cared where he
stink.
was.
Yeah,
Yes.
people forget. I mean, and that's the thing. Like Marcus Smart had a really good season. He was still one of the best guard defenders in all basketball. It's just when the Wizards won 20 games, no one cares. To your point, but I
Yep.
think now in a winning situation, Luca handpicked him. And speaking of Luca, all signs are pointing to him signing that contract extension. So I'm over the moon about that as well. But I think Marcus Smart is the perfect fit. Like there are going to be some lineups depending on who you're playing where Marcus Smart's going to be a better option to have in there than Austin Reeves because he can play defense. It's that simple. He's 3-and-D. And for a 2-year, $11 million deal, I love it. The only thing I hated about the deal was we had to get rid of Jordan Goodwin. I hated that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw like an hour or two ago, Phoenix picked him up. I was frustrated by that.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
I don't like it's quiet as kept. Phoenix might be. We'll talk about that in another episode. But Phoenix not gonna be trash like people think.
Yeah, Phoenix is coming.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm paying very close attention to
Yes,
what they're
sir.
doing. Yeah.
Here's what I'll say about the Lakers though. Before I pass it to you, here's what I'll say. Rob Pelinka has still not had a perfect offseason, but the fact that all we lost was Dorian Finney-Smith and we got DeAndre Ayton, granted, it fell in his lap as always, but we got DeAndre Ayton, we got what's his name, Laravia, from the Kings. I think he's actually going to be a really good fit for the Lakers. I think a lot of fans are going to love him. About that.
He has a perfect game to play beside Luka.
Facts, exactly. And think about it, he'll be perfect off the bench. Like,
yep.
If he continues to develop into a really solid defender, and Marcus Smart even talked about it, because people forget he was in Memphis before he was in Washington last year. He actually talked about how Jake LaRavia could actually continue to develop into like a really good NBA 3-and-D level like wing. So I'm really excited about that. But the fact that we got DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, LaRavia, and all we lost was Dorian Finney-Smith, and what's really solid too is that we still have Kleba, Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt that we can use as trade package, and we still can't hold on to that 2031 first round pick. So, hey, I love what the Lakers are doing. I still feel like though we need to go out there and get one more 3-and-D wing before the season starts, whether that be Andrew Wiggins or somebody like that, or like a Herb Jones. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I like the moves. I'm just not. I'm excited about the Lakers because I think that we've made some decent moves. I just don't understand why Rob Pelinka continues literally every offseason. And it's there. It's like that stick figure. Do something.
Yeah.
That we always see the meme of do something, and he barely does anything.
Yeah.
Like, Ayton fell in your lap. Marcus Smart, good signing. I mean,
pretty much though, Luka was the one that recruited him.
Right. And it's the same thing with everybody else. He doesn't do his job.
Yeah, even Jake LaRavia too. Like Austin Reeves recruited him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I hope that with the new ownership, like this, to me, this needs to be a make it or break it season for whether Rob Pelinka retains his job. I'm just going to be honest. I really believe he should have been gone last year. Because of the mediocrity that he continues to display every single offseason. He does nothing. He doesn't make things happen. And everybody, there's always the comment, oh, it's the Lakers tax. It could be the Rob Pelinka tax.
Facts.
It really could be.
One thing I'm looking forward to, though, is if Rui comes out balling, and it's like if Jared Vanderbilt can stay healthy, I actually am intrigued to see where this team is at by like the 30-game mark. You know what I'm saying? Closer to like the actual deadline. Because I'm like, on paper, the Lakers can be really good. And I'll just go and tell you this. We can save it for another episode where we do like, our preseason predictions. But I think Luka's going to get MVP. I think he's about to come out with a vengeance. Supposedly this is the best shape he's been in since like his rookie, sophomore year. And I think given everything that transpired last year, this is actually going to be his first full season with the Lakers. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, no, he certainly looks in shape.
Yeah.
I saw some pictures. You can tell he's lost some weight. He looks more toned. So I think that I think he's going to come out with a vengeance. I think he's got.
He's about to play for the Slovenia national team too.
National team, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a chance for him to actually get in shape and not come into the off season, not come into the season getting into shape.
Facts.
like he's done in the past. Because let's be honest. That's part of the reason why the Mavericks got tired of it. They were just like, this dude just works himself back into shape every offseason after the offseason and, ends up getting injured or whatever. He just didn't seem to take it seriously.
And that's what's scary, though.
Yes.
He was half
I think
carrying.
this was a wake-up call for him.
Yeah, he was half carrying and was still a top 3 to 5 player.
Sure. Yes. So now let's see with him focused where that leads.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, like I told you last year, by December, I'll know what we look like. I'll know whether or not Rob Pelinka should retain his job. I've known for the past 2 years he shouldn't have. But by Christmas, just like I said last year, by Christmas, I'm going to know what this team is capable of. And I know we always tend to make runs the second half of the season. But sometimes we shouldn't have to make runs. Sometimes we should be able to start out the season on a good note. And
Facts.
so it'll be interesting to see how we do by Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
all right, so kind of I'm going to shift gears and we can kind of do some quick takes with the WNBA All Star Weekend recap. Your thoughts about that? Sabrina won the 3-point contest.
Yeah.
Natasha Cloud won the skills cap challenge. Nafisa Collier won the All Star Game MVP, and Skylar Diggins had the first triple double ever in the All Star Game. So, your thoughts on all those things?
Well, first, Sabrina winning the 3-point contest. I predicted, I was like, it was either going to be her or Alicia Gray. Shout out to
Yep.
her, too. She's had a phenomenal year. But Sabrina, again, she's lethal. So I wasn't shocked by that. And then Natasha Cloud winning the skills challenge. I really wasn't shocked by that either. It's like the fact that the Liberty took over those events was crazy to me. And then, it pains me. It doesn't pain me to say this because we've been saying this for the longest. Nafisa Collier is the best player in the entire WNBA. It's not even close. Asia Wilson's second in my opinion, but it's Nafisa's league right now, whether people want to admit it or not. Like, the most points ever scored in an All-Star game. And I will say this, that was actually one of the most entertaining All-Star games. I think this one and then last year in Phoenix were both really entertaining, but the addition of the 4-point line that they did this year, I really love that.
Yeah.
And they beat the brakes off of Caitlin Clark's team. It wasn't even close.
And it wouldn't have been any different had she played.
Facts.
So I want to go ahead and kill that noise.
Oh, yeah,
It would have
facts.
might have been worse.
Facts. And then Skylar Diggins is like getting a triple double in a WNBA All Star game is really impressive, especially being a guard. Like, she got it with rebounds and assists, so it's like it's very
Yeah.
impressive. And I'll just say this: I'm really excited to see how some of these teams actually finish off the year. Like, I'm really rooting for the Sky to potentially like kind of sneak up and get a playoff spot. I'm really intrigued to see what the Aces do the second half of the year. And I'll be honest, like, my pick to still win it all is the Lynx. I think as long as they can
Yes.
continue to stay healthy, Courtney Williams, and hey, shout out to the Stud Buzz too. They took over the WNBA. Oh, sorry. They took over the weekend. They were like the star of the show. Shout out to them. But yeah, I'm really excited for the second half of the WNBA season. And huge shout out to Paige Beckers as well. She's been balling too.
Yes, absolutely. So the only thing that I will mention is Valkyrie are quiet
Yeah,
as
they
kept.
tough, man.
They're tough. They're really, really tough. And I think that, if you look at what the Sky consistently do, can't seem to keep a coach. He's finally actually using Angel Reese the right way,
Facts.
but they, between her and Camilla stepping up, they're gonna be fun to watch. But I'm gonna be excited for when that trade package hits, and she requests that trade.
Yeah,
Because
facts. Angel
she
got to
she
get up out of there, man.
she got to get up out of there, absolutely, and go somewhere where her skill set can really be displayed. Because man,
Facts.
she's balling.
I completely agree.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, as we wrap up this episode, as we always do, Jameson, what is your moving the needle for the week?
Well, mine was I hate I didn't get to talk about it. It was like a week and a half ago, but my moving the needle, I'm starting to get really back into baseball. It was the MLB All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby. First off, with the Home Run Derby, I was rooting for O'Neal Cruz. I thought he was actually going to be the one that won it, and I'm telling you, that brother was hitting absolute nukes. He had one that was like 530 feet, one of the home runs, but it was shocking to me. Kyle Riley, like, huge shout out to him. He was actually the one that ended up winning. He had 54 home runs total, and he was actually the first catcher in MLB history that ever win the home run derby. So huge shout out to him. And then the actual All-Star game didn't disappoint either. It was actually like the American League was up 6-1. The National League came all the way back and won. Actually, excuse me, no, I had that wrong. The National League was up 6-1. The American League came back and tied it off. They actually went to a swing off for the very first time. And then shout out to my guy Kyle Schwarber, boy, 3 for 3 on the home runs and the swing off, and he led the National League to the 7-6 win. So that was like I've only watched MLB All Star like game and the home run derby the last like couple years. Getting back into baseball, but this was easily probably the most exciting one I've ever seen. So it was really good to watch.
Cool. All right. So my moving the needle for the, I guess I'll say for the week, is Venus Williams. She becomes the oldest player to win WTA singles match in more than 20 years at the age of 45. That's
Wow.
impressive. And she didn't just win; she won a straight set, 6-3, 6-4, to reach the round of 16 at the DC Open. So shout out to Venus Williams. She's not playing because she's trying to chase any records or anything. She's playing because she just loves to play. It's fun for her. So quick shout out to Venus Williams, still doing it at age 55, still beating people like she and her sister Serena have always done.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is this week's episode of the J&J podcast. We will see you guys back. Just a reminder that we're doing the podcast every other week during the summer, but we'll be back on a regular weekly schedule a little bit later. So we'll see you week after next. Same bat channel, same bat time. Take care.